There was an article after she retired that said Lauren Cheney is more important to soccer than Jrue Holiday is to basketball.
Oh.
And I loved it.
Now on the epicenter of Women's Sports Podcast with Karina LeBlanc, one of the sports world's true power couples.
The reason that we play the sport, right, and the reason that we are in sports is because we have a crazy desire to win. Like, insane.
Yeah.
We want to be the best.
So many times I feel like my career has gotten so much better just from watching women's soccer.
Amen.
Lauren and Jrue Holiday get real about the future of the sports that they love.
Owners don't want to lose money, players don't want to lose money. So me as an athlete going up against young guys and me telling them like, yeah, I've been through it. The way you're acting, you're going to lose money.
Do you think there's a difference between men and women professional athletes?
I don't know if everyone's going to love this answer. I think women's sports has taken too much from men's sports. And I think we are completely different.
Before women's sports, we're all about the sold-out arenas, big investments, media right deals. There were those that truly believed in the product. And today you'll hear it from Lauren and Jrue Holiday, their vision, their why, and most importantly, get to know who they are. They get raw, they get real. They show up how I usually get to see them, but today the best part is that you get a little window into who they really are. The Holidays have been investing in women's sports, communities, and each other since before it was guaranteed to pay off. Lauren was one of the founding players of the NWSL in 2013 when the league was brand new, the crowds were small, no one knew if it would survive. We played against each other. We tied that game, but based on my jersey, we won the season. Before she was named the inaugural MVP, before they won 2 NWSL championships, she scored the World Cup final in my home city of Vancouver, Canada. Lauren Cheney Holiday at 27 decided to walk away from the game because I chose this team for 10 years, she said, and now I'm choosing my family. You'll see today why family is the core at everything they do. Jrue, on the other hand, comes from a family where excellence is the baseline, with his brothers Justin and Aaron, who both played in the NBA. His parents, Sean and Toya, both played college basketball at Arizona State. The foundation shaped how he moves throughout the world, including the way him and Lauren built the Jrue and Lauren Holiday Social Impact Fund. This doesn't even talk about the 2-time NBA All-Star, 2-time gold medalist. These are not just elite athletes. These are phenomenal human beings. And I hope at the end of the conversation today, you get to see what I do, is that these are the types of people we need more of in this world. All right. Yeah, you guys love that.
Beautiful. Karina.
Karina, he jokes because you know me as KK.
KK, only KK.
And somebody, when you first moved here...
Keep on asking me like, oh, you know Karina? And I'm like, no, I don't know Karina. I know. They're like, oh, Karina and Jason. Oh, no, yeah, KK. Thank you. Yeah, it's because we're family.
We go back.
Yeah.
I've tried to adjust to Karina because I'm like, you're a businesswoman now. And then I always revert to KK.
It's like me with Cheney.
Yeah.
Not only...
I call her Cheney too.
You call her Cheney too? Because she earned that?
Yeah. Oh, because, yeah. I would have switched the back of my jersey to Cheney if she had asked.
He's lying. And he also calls me Cheney as when he wants my attention.
I still call you Cheney.
I don't think I've ever called her Holiday until...
You never will.
Yeah.
Until today.
Yeah.
But Cheney was still in.
The Holidays, as you guys say. Yes, it's the holiday. So let's go back. So we're here in Portland. Yes, Jrue got traded to Portland, and it happened.
It happened.
It did happen.
And I was like, live 5 minutes from my house. Our families are very close.
Okay, to be honest, though, I asked you where you lived.
Mm-hmm.
I asked Shannon Boxy, where she lives. And then I found a house accordingly.
See, she didn't tell me that because there was a house I wanted.
And then I sent him the house and I was like, look at this backyard. It's beautiful. Knowing that you were 8 minutes and Boxy's 8 minutes. And this is the house we chose.
Yeah, who we chose.
Aren't you excited?
But to know the information before would have helped. I'd have been like, yeah. But
Yeah.
did I kind of try to nudge her in a different way? A different place? Yeah.
All right, so let's jump into first Fire game, over 20,000 people. Or
Let's
just under.
go.
You get to experience this game with your kids. You get to see like a foundational game where we make history. with being a franchise like breaking records, and you were there with your family. Jrue, you've played on that court a gazillion times. You've balled out. What was it like to sit back on that day and watch women's sports in Portland show up as it did?
Little jealous.
Mm-hmm.
Just knowing that, like, obviously I play there. The crowd was like probably more rowdy than our games. It was amazing to see because obviously a big avid fan of women's sports and being able to watch the professional athletes do what they do. But I think having our daughter there with her friends was amazing, who I think had a basketball tournament that weekend.
Yep.
And came from the basketball tournament. So it was like, it's cool that I got to be a fan, but then also watch maybe the future of WNBA basketball.
And Janie or Lauren Holiday, what was that like? I mean, seeing JT there, the enthusiasm, but we go back to like the inaugural game of the NWSL, and I'll get into that. But to look at that in this city that's like the epicenter of women's sports, what was that like for you, going through your lived experience, but then to experience that as a mom?
Yeah, I think you know the story, but we took JT to a basketball game, women's basketball game last year, and they interviewed her and they were like, "Do you think one day you could be out here to play?" And she looked them dead in the eye and said, "I will never play basketball." And then fast forward a year, we're here watching the Portland Fire. She wants to invite her friends. She's sitting courtside, and she told my mom a week ago that she wants to play in the WNBA. And it's like, that is the power of seeing women doing what they're doing at a high level. And if we're talking about the inaugural home opener at FC Kansas City, we were playing on a random high school field.
Lined footballs.
And the ball would bounce over your head if it bounced wrong because the turf was so old. But to see that and to see that it, like, I would look at Jrue and he's like, "It's louder in here than at our games." Yeah. And like for my daughter to experience that and be able to see that and want to dream to play in that environment it's unreal.
You guys are college sweethearts. So even back then, you were in each other's lives. When you hear talk about, like, we had, I think at that inaugural game, just over 6,000 people. It was a high school lined football field. Locker rooms were
I think 6,000 tickets given away. I don't know that there were 6,000 people at the stadium. I don't know that we ever had 6,000 people, but hey, here nor there.
No chance.
But Jrue goes back even to the WPS where he would
freeze my butt off.
Yep.
Yeah. At what'd you play at? Harvard Stadium?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Very good.
I'm a lifer. I'm here until the end.
Yeah, so what's your take on it?
Oh, it was rough. For me personally. Honestly, only because there's this energy that comes with other fans and people around, and when you're at Harvard Stadium by yourself, freezing your butt off, like there's no energy or there's no heat. It was really tough, but I was a fan of soccer, so watching her helped me understand soccer even more, and that's kind of where I started falling in love with it back then. Getting to Kansas City, I mean, those are good old days. I mean, she balled out. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, I knew how good she was, but then I think she kind of tapped into this place where like she was the best in the world. And that was fun. That was fun to be.
Hands down, like nobody could argue top 3 in the world at the time, right? Like we were talking about the other night, Aya Miyama, some of the greats. Like Janie, I hated playing against you for multiple reasons. Okay, I know you love that, but like hated it because you were so ruthless. It's the exact opposite of who you are as a personality. But when we talk about it, where we talk about 2-folded leagues, we had WSA, WPS, right? We finally had the NWSL. We have the opening game, horrible field. But it starts to survive, and you see the momentum kind of starting to build. So Jrue, looking back and thinking of the whole trajectory you've seen through her career, being a female where she was the elite, yet she wasn't getting maybe some of the things you were getting. That whole transition, how do you...
Nothing I was getting. Nothing. But it was it's cool to see it now. I think back then, the thing that I was most impressed with was even though she was the top of the top and the cream of the crop, she was still fighting for everybody below her.
Mm-hmm.
Like justice warrior. No, that's not fair. No, that's not right. Nowadays, or even like in men's sports, you might not see that from the best players fighting for the people that are maybe not getting paid enough or not getting treated the same way as the people on the top. So that was very, very eye-opening and important for me to see. And then really just going from random high school or stadiums or fields to then to like a community college, and then to like really see it progress to like these stadiums that are rocking. Like it's I don't know. I wish you would have maybe started playing now, because you would have been paid more and you would have got more recognition and all that. But I can honestly say that she is a big reason why the sports world for women look how it looks now.
Oh, sweet. That's just recent.
Man, I'm cool with her. I like her.
I mean, when you hear that, Shani, like, and I think it's important that people do know that you have always been an advocate for the quietest one in the room. Where did that even come from?
Yeah, I think it comes from my childhood. Like, I think that's how my parents raised me. I tell this story a lot, but like my parents would have us save like our winter coats so we could pass them on to the kid down the street or who didn't have a winter coat at the time. I feel like it was instilled in me at a young age that we don't just like worry about ourselves, we worry about everybody in our community, everyone around us. That's all my parents. Like, I think that has always been instilled. I think justice for me, I've always been about, is it fair? Is it right? My whole life.
A lot of it was black and white. A lot of it.
Yeah.
Best arguer that I know. Not
I
saying
see that in
anybody
my
argued
daughter.
ever, but yeah.
I do. I see it in our daughter too, and it drives me crazy because I'm like, there is gray area, but for so long there was no gray area for me. And so like if I saw something that was wrong, I wanted to fight it, and that was what I did in the league. No one was ever concerned that I wasn't expressing myself or saying how I felt. So that was never my issue. I think that where I've grown is how I say it and how I present it, but it definitely came from my parents.
Why did you do that?
Like I said, she used to use choice words to me, and I don't like those choice words that she chose. So she's done a lot better at her delivery and the word she uses.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Give me an example.
I mean, I feel like there was a time in our relationship where he would say, "You could have said that any other way."
Any other way.
And I would have responded well. But the way that you just chose to say it was, I can't respond to that.
To me, it seems like you did it on purpose. Like, you're supposed to love me. You're not supposed to talk to me like how you're talking to me. Again, I'm a bit sensitive, so.
But you know what's funny? Because every time you spoke up, and I've been in the rooms as a player when you spoke up, nothing you said wasn't needed to be said. Because we always knew at the foundation of it was nothing about you.
And I love that. I love that. I love that she can be brutally honest. Just not with me. Just not with me.
Okay.
Be brutally honest with them. Soften it up for me.
Okay. All right.
So she got there.
All right. So be softer with the baby in the family.
Yeah.
Got it. So interesting enough, when you decide to retire, I think everybody was like, wait, what? Because you're 27?
Yeah.
Right? Top of the game, scoring the goals in the World Cup. And then you say, I want to focus on family.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
It wasn't my fault, by the way. I'm just going to say that it was not because of me.
Okay, honestly, it is so weird. I think about it too, and I'm like, huh? Sometimes. And then other times, like, you can ask Jrue. It wasn't like it was just that year.
Yeah.
Like, I had felt it for a while that I was like, okay, I'm, like, my time it's like running out. And it wasn't at all because I thought I was getting worse. Like, I knew that I was getting better. Like, I knew that I felt that way, but like there was just this tug on my heart. And then, like, honestly, I think it was a God thing. I think God was telling me like, hey, you need to slow down. I'm trying to show you something. And I thought it was always like, oh, I'm going to retire and I'm going to go save the world, because in my mind, that's what I was going to do. Start a family, maybe travel the world, see where I could be of value and help people. Right. And then I was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and it was like, maybe not in that moment, but when I look back, I see where God had his hand. Like, okay, I'm going to let you win an NWSL championship. You're going to score the game-winning goal in the World Cup, and then you're going to drop the mic, and we're going to handle the rest of what you have coming.
And I say because it's such an important conversation now, because today players can have that and then go back and play. Back then, that was not really a reality. And then you put that heaviness with having a brain tumor. Jrue, how did you process all of that? Because we've talked about it, but
I told him, obviously, like telling myself, I'm like, yeah, there's no way that God's going to allow like my wife and my daughter not to be there. So through it, it was really just about supporting her, making sure that she had everything she needed, trying to find the best doctors that we could, keeping her inner mental right and intact, because my family was there, her family was there. You know, sometimes when you do a family and everybody's in one place for a long time, it's like, all right, get out of my face. I feel like I tried to do my best to kind of manage that. And then once she had JT, it was like, all right, cool. Like, we're halfway there. And then once she had the surgery, which was probably the longest day of my life, 10-hour surgery. Initially, actually, Lauren didn't want to bring JT to the surgery because she was a month old, like while we were going back to the hospital. But she ended up like allowing us to bring JT, and she was like this bright light. And I think from there, in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, everything's gonna be okay. I think for me, I didn't really process it until actually 2 years after that, where I randomly walked into the bathroom where Lauren was and just like started telling her everything that I felt, everything that I thought, everything that I was going through. But it took me 2 years.
why do you think it took you 2 years?
I don't know how to process things well, you know? I'm really good at holding things in. And especially at the time, I didn't want to put a burden on anybody. When I say anybody, I mean Lauren, because she had the baby, then she had brain surgery, and then she had radiation for 6 months, not 6 weeks. And then I also eventually went back to season during my contract year. So it was like a lot going on. I wasn't really thinking about like what that was like for me, not until a lot later.
And Cheney, I think a lot of people know the story, but do you want to take us through? You said brain tumor. There's a lot of pieces missing out in that. And that started with your faith of the strength that you had, but you were pregnant. Do you want to take us through that?
Yeah. So when I retired, I won an NWSL championship.
Yes, I know, but I'm wearing the shirt of the first ever championship.
We won the championship. I retire. Jrue, we get pregnant in end of January, beginning of February of the next year. And like almost immediately, I'm like, pregnancy is weird, y'all. Like, it is weird.
I mean, not for me, but I would say she wasn't a fan. She didn't like being pregnant.
But I'm like, I don't have any balance anymore. I have to tell myself to swallow while I'm eating. Like, pregnancy is weird. And then,
I mean, we'd be working out together, and she'd be like, do I look weird or do I feel off? And I'm like, nope, look world class to me. But something about her, she just knew her body.
Yeah, like I felt off, and I'm like, this is just weird. And so I asked my doctor, and they're like, okay, not completely normal pregnancy symptoms. And then my face started to go numb, my gums first. So we went to a dentist, and the dentist was like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with your dental. Maybe you need to see a neurologist. I saw a neurologist.
Well,
And
they poked her gum with a needle.
yeah, and I couldn't feel it at all. And so he's like, maybe you need to see a neurologist. I go to a neurologist. The neurologist is like, honestly, your symptoms aren't so bad that we're like massively concerned, but there is a chance that you could have MS because it comes out in women that are pregnant. Like, this is a possibility. And I think that night, I went home and I told Jrue, I was like, if I have MS, I think you should divorce me.
As she would. These are the things you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, you don't talk to
What a
your husband
loser.
like that.
And he literally says, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, it's just a horrible disease. You're young. Like, I would hate for you to have to, like, take care of me for that many years. Like, I just couldn't handle that.
This is so you.
Yeah. And
So
so
stupid.
we have that conversation. He absolutely dismisses me. And then we move on. And I'm like, okay, in the back of my head, I'll deliver JT and then I'll have an MRI and they'll see if I have MS or not. But my symptoms started getting worse. Like, I stopped myself from driving. No one had to tell me, but when I would drive, I would forget where I was going. So I would be driving and I would pass Target because 99% of the time it was Target where I was going. And I would pass Target and I would be like, oh my gosh, like, what in the heck is happening to me? Like, something is wrong. And then I started getting more frequent headaches. And there was one time Jrue was in LA. I had come back to New Orleans for a doctor's appointment. I was by myself and I woke up out of my sleep with this horrible migraine. It was like the worst headache I'd ever had. And I started to freak out because I was like, okay, if something happens to me, something happens to my baby. So I actually ran like a warm bath to try to calm myself down, got in the bath. The next morning, I told our really good friend that was living with us at the time, and she was a speech pathologist. And she was like, I called my superior and they think you need an MRI like now. And so they got me in to get an MRI that day. And so it was an older gentleman that rolls me back and puts me into the MRI machine. And when I came out, I saw his face and I was like, oh, something's very wrong. And he asked me, don't go to the waiting room, sit here and wait for the doctor to call you. And so I'm sitting there and my friend's like, it could be anything. You don't know what it is, like, trying to help me. I get the call, 5 minutes, and the doctor's like, I have good news and I have bad news. Good news is you don't have MS. Bad news is you have a massive brain tumor. And in that moment, like, it took my breath away. And then the first thing you think, brain cancer, you think death. Like, that was the first, I have a brain tumor, I have brain cancer, I'm going to die. My friend texted Jrue, like, get here now. And so
I already had my flight booked. Okay, she was yelling at me though.
yeah,
Like,
she was
seriously,
like, you
I
need to
have
be
my
here.
flight booked. Yeah, I just made it to the airport too. Just made it.
And so he's on his way back. And I feel like in that moment, I'm trying to process, like, I call my mom first. My mom does the same thing. She leaves work, gets on a flight. I think she bought the flight as she was driving home from work to the airport. She got there, and then it was really just like the process of what's next. And I feel like that was the hardest part. I needed a plan. Once I had the plan, the waiting was horrific.
I can only imagine.
And I feel like people don't understand like the suffering and waiting. And I got a whole new understanding of suffering in that moment because I'm waiting for the inevitable, but I'm also waiting because I need to make sure that my daughter is going to be okay.
Yeah.
And so when I feel worse, right, because I'm progressively getting worse as the days go on, the tumor is growing as my child is growing. And I'm like, okay, how long can I wait to make sure that JT is healthy and safe, but that I don't hurt myself? And so we delivered at just shy of like 35 weeks. She was a week in the NICU. I had her 5 weeks early, and then I had brain surgery 4 weeks later.
And then even in that process,
Yeah.
in your mind, you're like, if I have to choose,
I choose her.
and you told him that.
For sure. I would have so many conversations with Jrue, right? Like, hey, if this happens, I want you to do this. And I remember specifically, like, I told Jrue I also had a hard time praying because, like, what was I to pray for, right? I want to live. I want to raise my daughter. But if I'm praying God's will be done, right, as we're told to pray, it's like, well, if his will is for me to die, I don't want it. And that's like a really hard thing you have to battle with your faith. And I remember asking a mentor of mine, like, what do I say? What do I do? How do I pray when I want is to live? And she goes, you pray to live. And God sees you and hears you and understands. And so I remember so many times like Jrue praying for me or being that rock for me, but then also like me having to like reassure myself because I didn't doubt God, but I wasn't sure like how could I truly like believe if I wasn't confident in his will be done is what I wanted for my life. And so I think that process was extremely difficult, and Jrue was like, now when we were talking about him processing it 2 years later, like I get it. He held it all together.
Absolutely.
And he had to, like he couldn't break down because I wasn't strong enough. And he was able to stay solid for everyone. My family wasn't strong enough. You know, like all of us were going through extreme suffering, and I feel like he was too, but he kept it together for all of us. You done good.
Thank you, brother.
Done good, kid.
Appreciate y'all.
I think the big thing is people saw the headlines of you stepping away, but then true fashion to the two of you taking the hardest part of what you're going through and then making it something for others. Where you start, you donate your salary. Do you want to talk about that? Because that was
Yeah.
leadership.
Yeah. I would actually say before that though, just talking about like us sharing it with other people, it came out that Lauren had a brain tumor and so many other women came out to Lauren and told like the same story. Or there was one woman in California that went to my parents' church that went through it too, and they like became friends. So yeah, so something that I think we thought was rare is actually a little bit more common than we think. And just because of her story, she got to share it with other people that were going through it too. But back to our fund, it was actually because of COVID. They had all the rioting and all that stuff and protesting. Obviously, we wanted to protest, but Lauren was pregnant a second time. We decided to have another child, and obviously we couldn't go because of we couldn't go protest because of COVID. And we're just sitting in our little apartment in our barn, 1 bedroom, me, her, and JT. And it was like, well, I have to go back to the bubble to play. Well, I guess I don't have to. I have a choice. And I'm making all this money while the rest of the world isn't making money. Like so many people are out of work. What is it that we can do? And a lot of people looking like me and you weren't getting the opportunities that others were in terms of loans from banks and stuff just to keep afloat for the business in their life. So like me and Lauren are in bed one night and I'm like, what can I do? Like we kind of came up with a few ideas, and she's kind of like, you know what, you can give your salary and we can give it to Black and brown owned businesses and nonprofits. And I'm like, all right, like we have enough saved up and we can do this and do that. Like we have enough money. And I was actually making $25 million that year. And I thought she meant the whole $25 million contract.
And he said yes.
I was like, yeah, I mean, we'll be fine and we'll be okay. She's like, no, just what you're going to make in the bubble is going to go to businesses. And I was like, okay. It was definitely a joint effort in us, I think, trying to better people's lives because, I mean, God's blessed us beyond measure. So that was an easy decision just to give back to not only my community, but I mean, our community that I know and don't know. So.
And that started other athletes understanding the power of your voice, not just for brands, but then to do things to give back to communities.
Yeah, and we launched it in the bubble where I think basketball was the only thing playing at the time, which was kind of obviously a pretty good marketing strategy, where people could see like us as athletes, guys who are making a lot of money or possibly have the ability to give back, do whatever you can to give back. And for us, it's money and it was time. Money is the easy part, just write a check, but time is huge. Being in the community and seeing people face to face and really getting to know their struggles and how you can help. I felt like we just decided that was the best thing to do. So.
And then that started the whole next chapter of investments and ownerships. And I remember one time joking, like, I think you're like, I was Googling P&Ls and all this things, but then you start getting into the room and having important conversations. And that transition of not knowing the acronyms, but having that seat at that table and bringing a different lens, as you talked about, you're always someone to speak up for those who don't have a voice. But then now you're sitting at the table, you're talking about helping people start their own businesses and doing it in the right way, partnering with universities that are well-known universities. All of a sudden you evolve from the athletes into the business owners. Can you talk about that transition? Because I think it's important for our former and current, you're still current athletes to understand the transition before they retire, when they're there, like the idea of imposter syndrome, but then understanding the importance of that seat.
Gosh, I'm so passionate about this. So
Are you? I wouldn't know that. I'm just randomly asking you this question, Janie.
I could go in so many directions, but I think like having the seat at the table, right, is interesting because it's always been us. Like you too, and so many athletes that I know, where it's like if you ask their opinion or you ask their feedback, they would be actually be very valuable in any boardroom. They would be very valuable in any executive team that there is. Yes, even though I had to Google every word that I heard in the first like 10 business meetings that I had, once I heard and knew what it was, I was like, oh yeah, this is easy. It's just a different lingo. It's the same as if you're playing basketball or soccer or whatever. And so I think for us, it's like the reason that we play the sport, right? And the reason that we are in sports is because we have a crazy desire to win. Like insane. We
Yes.
want to be the best.
Yes.
And all of us in our own
Our
way.
families can't even play kick around soccer without it becoming extremely competitive.
My daughter is currently writing your husband an apology.
Yes, she is.
Like she is currently writing your husband an apology because she could not handle. Actually, I need to write an apology too because I couldn't handle pickup last minute.
Okay, so going back, ridiculously competitive. Yeah.
So we're all ridiculously competitive, and also we've lived the experience. We know what it's like. I know what it was like in Kansas City when we had very little funding and there were girls who didn't even have a mattress to sleep on and we were fighting for that. And we took 3 flights to the semifinals of the NWSL championship.
Yeah.
Like
They still won that year, by the way.
but I'm saying like we have lived experiences, right? But what we did not know was I did not know how much money Kansas City was losing that year. I did not know how many losses they were writing, and I did not know how much money my owner had. And he couldn't afford to lose that much money necessarily, right? And so my passion and what I've realized is when we have the seat at the table, we can bridge that gap. We both have common goals. When you buy a team, you don't want them to be losers. You want to win. But every single one of your athletes also wants to win. And so how do you do it? You do it with integrity. And so I think like every team you've played on, every team he's played on, every team I've played on, the best teams were the ones that were led with integrity. You either had the ownership, the coaching staff, the captain, someone on the team had extreme integrity.
High integrity, the highest.
The highest.
Yeah.
To be able to create this environment that supports winning, that supports everyone thriving, and for everyone to get to the next level, right? And someone who can get through, a team that can get through hardships, adversity, because it's all going to happen. And that is literally what every business wants. How do we get through adversity? How do we like fix this loss? How do we overcome this challenge? And as athletes, we have that. It's innate in us. It's what we do. It is what took us to this level. It is how we got there. And so I think for me, that is when I realized, so how I got into it was his owner sold the Bucks, asked me to work with him. And I realized, I was like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I actually get to tell people, no, you're doing that all wrong. We're looking at that all wrong. This is what the athlete needs. And then I get to tell the athlete, no, listen, I got your back, but you have to understand there is a process to this because there are losses and there are things that are happening. And so to be that bridge, I'm like, every athletes need to be in ownership. Athletes need to be in ownership in the NBA, in the NFL, in the NWSL, in anywhere, in the WNBA. We need to be in ownership so that integrity can stay.
I love it.
Love a businesswoman. Look how she
Especially-
dressed today.
I know. Look at her blazer today. I thought I dressed like y'all normally. But what is it that you wish? And maybe it's not one thing, but what you're most passionate that every athlete knows, and that every owner knows, because you're now talking about both sides, which we nerd out on a lot.
You have the same goal.
Yeah.
That is like the one thing I would hope that each person knows, because there's not a single athlete that wants to lose. Not at this level. And if they do, they won't be there long. And there's not a single owner that wants to lose. And so I'm like, you guys are there for the same reason.
But losing means, like obviously losing and like winning championships and stuff like that, but also money.
Yeah, like that's why I'm asking.
Also a big driver. Owners don't want to lose money. Players don't want to lose money. So me as an athlete, obviously, current athlete, going up against young guys and me telling them like, yeah, I've been through it. The way you're acting, you're going to lose money. That's a big thing for them to be like, all right, well, how do I switch my mentality? And this is how you do it. But also coming with that comes winning. A winning attitude, coming into the locker room every day, joyful. Even on those days where like, you know, you don't have it, which everybody here knows you're not going to have it some days. But it's, in my opinion, I think winning and losing also includes money.
Absolutely. But that's like what we're seeing in women's sports, right? It's not just a dad with a daughter owning a team anymore.
Yep.
It's ownership groups that see the value and know that they're going to make money.
Yeah, they've been losing that money for a long time. Y'all weren't getting paid anything.
Because they weren't making any money.
No.
They weren't.
No.
You've got to have, it kind of has to work into each other, whether it's the media rights deal, whether it's attendance.
The marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of the things. And that's why I was saying, sometimes I wish athletes would know that some of the stuff that they're doing, it's not just, it's literally helps the collective group in moving forward. You know?
Sorry, can I ask a question? I kind of felt like at one point it was like they wanted us to not to know about these things. Do you think that that's true? Like ownership didn't want players to know about the business side of it.
Yeah, I think there's some truth to that. And I don't think that athletes need to be in the ins and outs of all the ownership decisions. And I don't think ownership should be in the ins and outs of player decisions or team decisions on the field. But I do think there has to be an understanding of like, what are we both aiming for? Because once that happens, it's like there's a lot more grace given on either side, you know? But if you feel like someone's trying to take advantage of you, or you on either side, it's really hard to build that trust. And if you don't have trust, you're not building a winning culture. You're not building a winning team. So I think that there is a level of transparency that needs to be had and can be had. And then there's also like, let the business professionals worry about business and let the athlete worry about playing. Because I think if you go either way, too much into either side, it breaks that culture.
Do you guys feel though, because I mean, the difference between male athletes and female athletes in wanting to understand and know the business, right? To really nerd out, to understand the details. More female athletes maybe are more intrigued in that than male athletes. And is that because maybe the paycheck where you guys are like, okay, I have a lot more flexibility. I come back to Abby and Kobe, you know, that one quote where Abby retired and she's like, I got to keep working, versus everybody else here is good to go. Do you think there's a difference between men and women professional athletes?
In that sense, yes. It's interesting though, because some of his teammates and players that he had played with, business-wise, they're some of the smartest individuals I've ever met. And also opportunity. So no one's coming to NWSL player in 2013 with an investment deal.
But the same thing in the NBA, and that was what I was going to say. But keep going.
And so it's like we didn't have exposure to that. It's not like someone was like, "Hey, come invest $100,000 with me." I didn't even make $100,000.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't that my salary didn't even reflect that. And then like hearing his teammates, watching his teammates, listening to his teammates, being on calls where I've heard what's going on, Like, they're just being exposed to so much more.
Mm-hmm.
And even on the nonprofit side,
Mm-hmm.
like, what does it look like to start your own foundation? How does this work? Well, no one offers that because it's like, well, maybe we need a charity for our players at that time. You know what I mean?
We
Like,
are the charity.
we are the charity. And then where as athletes, they're like, no, you could do this or you could do that. And so I think leveling the playing field in that sense would also be a massive uptick because women are hungry for that. And we always have been, but the opportunity has not been the same.
And I would say for men, I think it's the same. I think that because I played in a couple of different decades of basketball. So if somebody in 2013, yeah, the highest paid players, there's only select few, there's like a 1% of the 1% that have that. So yeah, they're getting offered those investments and all those, but the bulk of us or the bulk of them weren't getting that. A lot of them still had a hunger to do something more because they were playing 4 years and see, or maybe they played 7 years and maybe they didn't make as much as they wanted to, but always heard about what the investment was like, or ownership was like. Now, because the game has grown, a lot more people have made a lot more money. And because of the age that we're in, I feel like there is this shift in like, I don't want to work. So let me make as much money as I can. And if I can retire by 30, making millions of dollars, cool. So I would say like different decades back then, yeah, I think a lot more guys were very into the business side and were interested in it, but they didn't have the access to it. They probably, they made more money than women's sports did, but they also still had to work. So a lot of people went overseas and played, or a lot of people tried to either become scouts or coaches or things like that. But I think now, because again, listening to like my first rookie contract and their first rookie contract, like life-changing money.
Yeah.
Life-changing.
Yeah.
So I think that that's a bit of a difference in this age where I'm Unc in the locker room trying to tell people like, no, you have an opportunity here. Some people, if they only play for 4 years, they'll be set for life. If they're smart with the money.
Unc.
I'm Unc.
Maybe I'm gonna call you Unc. You're yelling, hey, Unc.
Call me Unc.
No.
You're young. All the young kids call me Unc.
So this may be an interesting question, but what can the male players or men's game learn from the women's game? And what can the women's game learn from the men's game?
And I've always said this, and it's from watching y'all play, because you guys didn't have as much as we did, I don't think that y'all took things for granted. And sometimes I feel like we take things for granted, especially young guys in the NBA thinking that they're going to play 12, 14 years. Obviously, I had the dream of playing a long career and all that, but I don't think I took it for granted because I saw what y'all were going through. Like, it's not all sweet everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Like in the NBA, yeah, you see the LeBrons and you see like Steph, and even before that, you saw Kobe, Tracy McGrady, all these guys, and everybody thinks that their career is going to be like that, and that's just not realistic. But because we had the access to it more than you guys did, it was like, oh yeah, I could have a little attitude here, or I could mess up here, I could miss practice here, or come to the game late. But in reality, the way you guys handled yourselves professionally, I think, was so different. And I think the guys who handle themselves like that now are the guys who have a long career. So.
Like you.
I mean, again, I have a wife who, again, talks to me crazy. I have a mom and a dad who also play professional and talk to me crazy. I had 2 brothers and a sister who played collegiate basketball, and 2 brothers that are in the league. So my community around me always kept me where I was supposed to be. Not everybody has it though.
Yeah. Talking to you crazy.
I mean, but not everybody has that.
Yeah.
No, somebody needs to like whoop you into shape with their words.
I'm dying because when we go to the games together, she's like, his body posture's awful, you know?
It's always something.
Dude scoring 30 points.
Well, I look up at her and she's like, I'm like, I don't know. I thought I was doing well.
Never do
I was playing well. All right.
I'll just tell you to shoot the ball.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if everyone's going to love this answer. I think women's sports has taken too much from men's sports.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we are completely different. And so I think women's sports has been built, right, to mimic men's sports. And it's just not the case. I think we are vastly different. I think the games are vastly different.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think that we should be taking more from them. I think we should be doing it differently from them. And I think that that is where we haven't done the best. Men's sports they've been around so long, and great. I love where they're at for them. That's awesome. But also we have a chance to build it in a different way that works for women. And I think that that's what I hope to take away is to see exactly what we should not do from men's sports. And that's not a knock
No.
toward them at all, but I just think as women, we have the capability to build something that is the best for us.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't exactly gotten the chance to. And I think that that's why we've only scratched the surface of women's sports, because that's what we're going to do. Now that we are getting the investment, now that we are getting the eyes, now that we are having that opportunity, that should be our first priority.
And I love that because I see you do that every day. And the best part about you too is that you actually keep pushing her.
She better work.
Like this is the best part too, is that when we have these discussions and there's no things around, but you ask questions and I'm like, okay. But you know the answer. But you're like, hey, I got a question on this.
I think sometimes not that she doubts herself, but sometimes because of our mixed lifestyle and you add kids to it and I could be traded at any given moment. Sometimes it could be easier just to not do it.
Mm-hmm.
And in my head, I'm like, but that's not going to make you happy. Like you love what you're doing. You love working. You love the business attire. You love walking into a room full of billionaires and like literally telling them that they're wrong. And I think that that's cool. And I know that you enjoy it. So it's like whatever I can do to support that because she's really good at it. And obviously whoever she walks into the room with is going to benefit from it. I'm not going to let her stop doing that. That's why when she retired, she had to make sure that she wanted to retire. It wasn't because of me. It wasn't because of me why she retired. Just have to keep saying.
And I think everybody knows that. And especially after hearing this conversation, they're really going to know that she wears the pants in this relationship.
There was an article after she retired that came out that said Lauren Chaney is more important to soccer than Jrue Holiday is to basketball.
Oh.
And I loved it. Oh yeah, you're right. But it's still not my fault she's retiring. I would have next Olympics was with Brazil. I would have loved to go to Brazil.
We talked about this because the world knows that you chose number 12 at the Olympics.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I had to
represent.
Yeah.
The first gold medalist in the
First
family.
two.
Yeah. First two. See?
Yeah.
See, he's correcting me.
Yeah.
Fatherhood. So I am very biased. I think my husband is the best father in the world.
Do you have a good one?
I'm not gonna lie.
He's up there.
He is definitely top tier. Definitely top tier.
Yeah.
You are as well, my friend.
Oh.
You have a young daughter. We're talking about women's sports here. You also have Hendrix, he's just a beast of a machine. What does fatherhood mean to you?
I mean, it means everything. I think when you start working or providing, it's always been for your family, right? Like when I first got into the league, it was about making sure that my family is okay. My parents, my brothers and sister, that they were okay. And then once you get married, it's like, now you got to make sure you're doing this for your wife and that your marriage and you're doing everything for the future. But then once the future comes, once your kids come, it's like, I do everything for them. And to make sure that I'm doing it the way I'm supposed to be doing it, where I'm making them proud. I'm not embarrassing my wife and embarrassing my kids. But I think every decision that I've made since I've had children have been to benefit them most. Even coming with the hard stuff, like the reason why JT will be sending Jason an apology. It all becomes worth it when I can see my daughter at a basketball game. She's front row with her friends, screaming and joyful, because I miss so much of that stuff. Like, I miss recitals, I miss basketball games and practices, I miss soccer battles and all that. I miss the arguments here in the house. They might watch a movie for the first time, which I'm the movie guy. They might watch a movie for the first. They watch Remember the Titans without me, and I'm like, no, a dad's supposed to be there for that. But when I see moments of my kids enjoying themselves at games like that, or in certain moments, is like, this is why I sacrifice. This is the reason why I go and travel, and to be able to provide and see the joy on their face. So,
And for a young, powerful girl like JT, when it comes to the conversation of women's sports, how do you as a father want to give her hope and belief of what's possible?
by showing her highlights of her mom.
Hey.
No, which, by the way, my dad used to go on, or he still does, goes on YouTube and watches highlights of Lauren. So we would like pull up highlights. I used to do it before they went to sleep. When they would go to sleep, if mommy wasn't there, she left early, I'd sit there on my phone and we watch highlights of mommy, just so that we could see, like, nah, your mom used to do this. Because honestly, they see me do it in person, so they kind of see me as I'm the best athlete, when in reality, I'm not the best athlete. So I think that's one way that I try to keep JT locked into the fact that, like, it kind of runs in your blood, in your family.
Kind.
Kind of. Another thing is, I think we just want her to enjoy it. I think sometimes, especially with athletic parents, or maybe even more so with parents that didn't do it at this level, I think they kind of try to force their kids to do things, or they try to live it through their kids, and we're not here for that. Like, we literally know, if you don't want to do, doesn't matter your talent, doesn't matter how good you are, if you don't want to do this, then you're not going to be good at all. And I feel like we do our best to not only tell her that, but show her that.
Define your version of girl dad.
You think I'm a girl dad?
You're a pretty good one.
You think so? I feel like girl dad is like, girl just melts in your hand, right? Like, she can do no wrong. She asks for something, you're giving it to her, no matter what. And I'm kind of opposite. Like, I give JT mostly everything she wants. I give her mostly everything she wants. But there are some times where I'm like, you can't have that, because I feel like I'm going to set her up for whoever she's going to be with, and it's going to be really, really bad. Just me giving her everything she wants. So sometimes I typically try to tell her no. But I think it's somebody who affirms her in herself. Like, you are a strong and beautiful and athletic and wonderful little girl who is smart and athletic and artsy and has thoughts and dreams. I want her to explore all those. I also think a dad is supposed to expose his kids to a lot. If it's, again, of the arts, if it's music, if it's doing puzzles together. I just feel like girl dad means, like, you're the backbone, kind of in the background, and whatever she wants to do, you're there to support her.
Love it. Father's Day. Describe him as a dad.
Oh God.
Other than he's
Actually, please.
Jrue as a dad, I'm not gonna lie, I thought that Jrue was going to be the mush of the relationship, and I was gonna be the disciplinarian. He is not as much mush as I thought he would be, but he is consistent, and he is kind to his kids.
I'm fair for the most part.
You are fair. But they adore him, and that's what I love to see. Like, I was just telling somebody, Drew's home now, off season, and they're fighting over who takes them to basketball and football practice. It's always daddy. Well, he can't be in two places at once. So I'm like, one of you have to have me, you know? And it's like, no. But I would say that is how I would describe him, as consistent and like always present. He'll always show up. I have a story just with Hendrix the other day. Jrue had taken him to a fast food restaurant, and there was a homeless man outside, and Jrue stopped and asked him what he wanted to eat and got him food, right? And so Hendrix comes home and of course tells me about it. And we're doing something, and I told him, hey, if you find this, I'll give you $1. And he finds it, and I give him the $1, and he goes, no, mommy, I want you to give it to the homeless guy that we see every day when we pass school. And I was like, if I could describe Jrue, that is it. Everything that he does, my kids are watching and absorbing, and I'm very
A lot
grateful.
of pressure. A lot of pressure.
I see it in real time every time through. Last question. 20 years from now, where do you hope women's sports looks like, and what role does your family play in helping build that?
You're making moves now, so I think you guys are already helping the movement. Again, I don't think I've ever told you this, but I used to love watching you guys play because of how tough you were. But I feel like the integrity of the game and the purity of the game when you guys played as women always showed. Or like you can watch basketball, you can watch male athletes, and there's a bit more flopping and it's a bit more dramatic, but I feel like the joy of the game showed when you guys played, and that's one thing I don't want to change in 20 years. But I would like to see my daughter be able to make more than me as a female athlete, if she wants to be a female athlete. But not only that, I would like the world to know, like, that vision that I have of when I saw you guys play and how pure and how like hard you guys played. I think I want the world to also see that, where America sometimes doesn't give you guys the recognition and the praise that you guys need. But again, so many times I feel like my career has gotten so much better just from watching women's soccer.
Amen.
Not honestly, because I feel like I tried to hold down. I feel like I tried to hold that down even now. Where if you would like describe my game, I'd hope it'd be, yeah, he has fun playing, but he also like he'll run through a brick wall. And I feel like every time I saw women's soccer play, I'm like, that's what I have to do.
Yeah, I love that.
It was y'all, and it was Boxy.
Yeah.
Boxy's my dog, and she would run through a freaking wall, and I'm like,
She
man,
would.
I could play for her. I'll get out there right now.
I know. That's why I much preferred playing with you guys than against you. That's why the pickup games are not pickup games right now. Our kids are like, yeah. Okay, over to you.
20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that we're watching Paris and JT in whatever professional league that they want to be in.
Let's go.
I think, well, I
I'd
hope
love to see him on the U.S. national team.
on the U.S. women's national team.
I
I think it's a possibility.
guess you can answer your own question your own way.
And I think that women's sports in 20 years, there will be so much less of a gap, right? I think it's going to be very normal to go to a WNBA game, an NWSL game, a PWHL game, for our boys and our girls. And we won't be continually having this conversation of, hey, let's watch women's sports. Let's push women's sports. It'll just be the norm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we can get there in 20 years. It might not be completely there, but that's my hope. I would love to see women making significant raises in the pay gap, having significant strides in that. And I would love it if everyone was marketed the same way as the men. You know, when every time we were on a team, it was like one player.
Yeah.
And it was like that was the face of the team. And now it's like 4 or 5 players. And I just see that growing. Like little girls can dream and see so many women, not just one or two, that they get to be like.
I love it. So the second part of the question is, what role will you both play in making that happen?
I would continue to push her. There's a couple times where she doesn't want to travel somewhere because we don't have childcare, we can't do something. We're like, nah, I'll go with you. And then honestly, I think just pushing the game forward in general, whatever sport it is, just women's sports in general. I think I will always be a supporter the best I can.
Our role, I don't think we're leaving women's sports. I don't think we're leaving sports in general. I don't think it's a secret. I would love to own a team in the NWSL like outright. I would love to be the one making decisions. So I would say in 20 years, I hope that I am a decision maker to help grow the game in a large and impactful way.
I love it. We always said we were going to change the world, so go ahead and do that. And by the way, your voice is a big thing. All right, rapid fire. Who's the better cook?
Me.
Best piece of advice you ever got?
Don't ever get too high or too low.
Okay.
Don't let them steal your joy.
Who is more competitive at home?
Me.
Yes.
Me.
Yes, to that.
Absolutely.
So there's the choice words, and then there's uno. Uno doesn't work in our family.
Why?
Well, there's her, and then there's my daughter. Yeah. It gets hurtful.
Favorite family tradition?
I like Christmas Eve. We play a lot of games.
Christmas Eve is
Next
crazy,
level.
but Thanksgiving this year though was lit.
But I think I like Christmas.
It's always something competitive. Oh, and we have to be on the same team.
Why is that? Because you can't be against each other.
Christmas Eve traditions, we just play a ton of games.
And you're in the same team?
Sometimes.
Yeah. No.
Okay, we're on the same team.
Yeah, no. We're on the same team every time.
Yeah.
Go to scripture, prayer, or mantra.
Philippians 4, 6, and 7. Don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Thank God for what he has done. If you do this, you experience God's peace.
Psalm 30, there may be pain in the night, but joy comes in the morning.
Living proof of that. Biggest myth about being an investor in women's sports?
That you won't be successful.
Here you go. If you could go back and tell yourself one thing before your first professional season, what would it have been?
Just enjoy it because it goes by fast.
I remember in the WPS, I struggled. And I remember, I don't know, I think it was Bruno Mars or someone when he said, take me back to the day before this was a job, before I got paid. And so I would say keep that joy of when you weren't getting
Bruno
paid.
Mars and B.O.B. Yeah, you might be right. Wow.
I love it. I just remember playing, and we'd be leading the prayer groups on each other's teams.
Yep.
And we'd give each other these big hugs, and then we'd be ruthless on them.
Love that.
Yep.
Love that. Oh, you know what? A myth is that like women are like kind of soft and petite and dainty. I'm like, no, they're thugs out here. I'm like, no, it's crazy how physical it gets. I've witnessed it.
Well, I want to thank you guys because, yeah, I just love you guys. And I appreciate you coming to the podcast, sharing your story. I think people will hear you and they'll feel inspired, which is what I feel every time I walk into this house. So, to close, what I love about your story is that it's not just about championships or investment or giving. It's about what you build when no one is promising you what you think is right, but you just do the right thing. Lauren, you've helped build women's soccer from before momentum arrived. Jrue, you've used your platform to build opportunity without needing the spotlight. And together you remind us that purpose is not something you say, it is something you practice. Thank you to the both of you for letting the world know your story, because I love you guys. Well, that was beautiful. I said at the top, they get real, they get personal, and I feel you felt it because they are just genuinely two of the best human beings that I know. And I'm so excited about the future of women's sports because we have people who are invested in it, like the two of them. Hope you enjoyed the conversation. Like, share, subscribe, do all of it. And I hope you enjoyed getting to know my two close friends.